Buonasera, Steph. It's evening. We are. How you doing? We're recording the eve of the Club World Cup. Who believes it?
I mean, you wouldn't think it with the way that the
No.
sun's coming through Costa del London. Costa del Londra.
Exactly.
But happy evening.
Happy Father's Day as well for those in the UK.
Well, we're fur baby fathers, if you want to call it, innit? You got a cat, I've got a dog, so I guess we're fathers of some sort. But yeah, happy Father's Day to all of the honesty. We've got kids. Sadly, who might also be Milan fans, but it's a curse that I don't think I'd put onto my son or my daughter.
No, not at the moment. Maybe by the time we have kids, we might be good again. Who knows?
Maybe. Police are going off in the background. But yeah, what should we talk about today, Loz? What should we talk about?
So today, it's not been a huge amount of updates. Tare's busy. We've got a whole summer ahead of us of transfers and things like that. And we thought it'd be quite good to chat about Italy, about the Azzurri. There's a lot of people here listening who are also Azzurri fans, like Steph and I. We follow England, but predominantly support Italy. And, with the news that Gattuso, a Milan legend, is now taking charge, we've got some incredible young players that maybe he might give a chance to. I just thought let's chat about the state of Italy with a little bit of a little bit of a Milan flavour, basically. So with that in mind, I'm also raising, I don't know why, I had enough time to pour a glass of wine, Steph, so my priorities.
Doing it. You need alcohol when you talk about the Azzurri.
Exactly. So do you want to like, what do you think about Gattuso? Straight with the Milan thing.
I mean,
what's your thoughts, mate?
I'm a fan that I think over the years have gone on. I've been a fan that's kind of I focus more on the tournaments. I used to watch all the friendlies and all the qualifiers and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm really happy for Gattuso in a sense. It's a great opportunity for him. I just didn't think he would be anywhere near the shortlist of coaches even in the running. We saw what the rumors of Ranieri, Stefano Pioli. Who would make sense from a CV perspective, and Ranieri turned it down, and which is probably a sad state of the reality of where the Azzurri's at right now. No one wants it. It's like a poison chalice in a sense, but which is weird because they won the Euros like 4 years ago now, so it's weird to think it's that way. But like, not a lot of great coaches line up for it. Ancelotti obviously is taking the Brazil job, I think, or something like that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So and obviously there's been a bit of a coaching merry-go-round in Italy that the top coaches, the Italian coaches, are all going. They've got respective club teams, Conte, Allegri, etc. So it's kind of like falling on Gattuso's lap in the sense of going, here you go, it's on you now. And massive opportunity for him. And I don't know how well he's going to do. And some people were saying he's got the grinta in a sense, and maybe he can give some of these players a kick up the arse. But I think it's tough because I really want him to do well, but I'm so worried because I think the natural talent, the lack of talent currently in the Azzurri setup right now,
mate, it's alarming. It's alarming.
And they're not shit players, but if you take away like Donnarumma, Tonali, I think Donnarumma and probably Tonali, if he's more consistent, are the two world-class players. Barella, great player, but I think statistically this season he's not really been at his best. And as players have come out of the setup, and since that Euros winning side, the likes of your Chiesa and Verratti, and I mean Spinazzola had that, done his ACL, didn't he, in the tournament as well? And there are capable players there, but Di Marco as well, he's regressed as a player, and I look into that side. I mean, there is some talent, but it's as an Italy fan, you'll always look at that and go, we want the best, we want to be contending. And Christ, man, they're going to struggle to make the World Cup naturally through the group stage. So yeah, man, it's a great opportunity for him, but I don't envy what he's walking into because there's a lot of work to do.
I mean, look, we are to the first point about the talent of players that we have. I think you're right. I don't think we've got bad players. We haven't got Italy do not have bad players, but Italy do not have any stars. You look at Spain, Germany, England, each country, the big European nations, and then obviously South American nations, of which Italy is 100% one of the big nations, without a doubt. There's not one star player. You know, you think Yamal, Nico Williams for Spain. You got Florian Wirtz, Musiala, Germany. You got Bellingham, Foden, maybe not Foden, but Palmer, maybe England. You got at least 2 genuine gems.
Yeah.
You don't have any, which is the first problem. And I want to try and move the conversation on to sort of like, I agree with all your points. I actually think, you know, if I'm being honest, Steph, I don't see Italy going to the World Cup for a 3rd time in a row. I don't think Gattuso is a particularly tactically astute manager. Will his grinta, what he kind of did with average players at Milan when he was a manager, you know, with the Bakayokos, he had a certain level of ability, a bit like Conceição, but a bit better because obviously he's Italian. He's a Milan legend, so the buy-in is a lot more there. He's a World Cup winner with Italy, so I think that's great. But the problem I have with Italy is a league issue, right?
Yeah.
We have talented players. You look at Kamada, you look at Liberali, just 2 Milan examples. Then you look at Esposito in Inter. There's actually a couple others I can't think of the top of my head. There's the guy who went to Brighton, the defender. Coppola, is it Coppola?
Coppola, yeah.
Brilliant player. We've got these players, but they're not being developed properly. Like they're not being developed well enough.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue for me. Forget the manager, the Mancinis, the Gattuso, the Spalletti, all these coaches that are kind of like trying to just do something with a little bit of nothing. I think that's the problem for me, and why I wanted to steer the conversation, because it's obviously, you know, taking it about Milan and being sempre Milan. It's an issue that we have our club, that the whole league has. To think that no big team in Italy could afford or want to take a punt on a player like Coppola, who was like 15 million, and he's gone to Brighton. Like, that's an issue for me.
Yeah, there's a couple of layers to unpick with that. I mean, I think did Hellas Verona not want to sell Coppola to any other Italian side? I don't think that's the case. You know, they've been selling quite a few players to the likes of Milan and Juventus and Inter over the last couple of years.
Look at Tedesco, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and many more players in Napoli as well been involved with that too. But maybe the player just wanted to go to the Premier League, which in itself is probably a big issue right now.
That's an issue as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the appeal to play like Tonali, and you know, whether we like it or not, to play in the Prem, like Reinders, the words he said about Man City and
Calafiori as well.
Exactly. So, I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing for our talent, because some of our players that do go out there are some of our top talent. So, yeah, Tonali, Donnarumma at PSG, Calafiori, obviously not had the best of seasons, but he's probably up there, one of our better players as a setup. So I think there's a league issue from a sense of like how it's deemed like prospectively, and whether staying in the league, like playing, like if you're Spanish and playing for like, you know, Barcelona, Real Madrid is the Mecca, and that no longer is anymore because it's going to the Prem. So there's that factor. I think there's also another factor in, to your point, like giving youngsters a chance, and the way that our setup is, and it goes back to how the league is formed and the lack of the finances in the league that play, you know, teams like Milan and Inter and Juventus who well, others like Napoli too, who sell their best players. They don't replace them with obviously Italian players. They're not willing to give them a try, because ultimately the fans still expect the best. And you know, if we sold, you know, a top tier striker, and we were saying next season we're going to give Camarda a go as the starting number 9, would we accept that as good enough?
No, but what? And you're spot on, and I think that's maybe a fan issue. But what I think is, you can't use Yamal as an example. Yamal is genuinely a generational player, right? So forget Yamal, but you look at other players, and probably Barcelona is a bad example because their literal whole history is on La Masia and things like that. But other clubs have been blooding, not even world-class players, just good ones. You look at Liverpool, they played like not Brandon Williams, what's the Conor Bradley. You've got Arsenal had like these are not going to be Yamal level players, but they're still developing these talents alongside an 11 of quality players. And for us,